Welcome to A Kind Life. Today I'm really grateful to have my beautiful friend Tayla here. How are you going, Tayla?
I'm good, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
My absolute pleasure. It's actually kind of funny, isn't it? Because I reckon we initially spoke about you jumping on the podcast first, and then somehow it ended up we interviewed Dan, your partner, first, and then
everyone
Cara.
else. Everyone else but me. I was lucky last. Yep. Lucky last.
We won't tell them, but we saved the best till last, right, Tayla?
Oh,
So for people,
I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, so
yeah, me too. Yeah, very excited to have you here. So for people who may not know you, I guess tell us a little bit about yourself. You're also known on Instagram as Vegan Mama of Two.
Vegan Mama of Two, yes. I'm 20, 27, 2 kids. I had my kids quite young. Known on Instagram as Vegan Mama of Two. I have a bit of a following, which I love to use to my advantage to get people to watch things that they otherwise probably wouldn't watch. I don't really hold back on what I share because I think it's important, not to really care what others think and to protect the vulnerable. So I share quite a bit on there that is difficult to see, and people for some reason stick around and keep watching, which is good. I have quite a story which I think we'll get into, but I lost my fiancé when my kids were quite young, and I was very young, and I've gotten through that loss somehow. Used my grief and turned it into like a sort of anger and fire and passion to fight more for animals. So here we are.
Yeah, when I had the privilege of meeting you, which was not so long ago, back in March, I was really probably, to be honest, I was shocked to hear your story about what you've been through because like you said, you are so young, and, it just surprised me. It totally took me by surprise, and it was heartbreaking to hear. And, I'm sure whatever you're comfortable talking about tonight, you will, and we'll be very grateful for that. But I think it is really brave of you to share those parts of your story and to find strength in helping others and the animals, which is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I was only saying to Cara the other day, when I was like at my most broken when he passed away, instead of letting that pain, destroy me, I just, like the day after he passed away, I was back on Instagram sharing all the hard stuff about animals. So in a way it saved me too. It gave me something to fight for, like a fire of passion to continue even when I didn't really want to continue to live. So in a way it's sort of saved me, and I'm doing my part to save them. So
And so where would you like to start? Do you think it's best to talk about your vegan journey or your past fiance? Like, tell us what
let's start with the vegan journey. As we were talking about recently, I was trying to think back to like how I went vegan, and I don't really, there's a lot that I've blocked out from the last couple of years to sort of protect myself mentally. But I've only been vegan for 3 years, and I was trying to think back, and it's like quite hard to remember that journey. It's all a blur. But thinking back, I was sort of remembering having my daughter, and I was like, before that, I was starting to look into the realities of what happens to animals and where meat comes from. I don't know why, I was always really connected to animals and had a deep love and connection to them. So I always cared about animals. But when you're a kid and a teenager and no one around you is vegan, it's quite hard. So you just sort of follow the herd, you know what I mean? But then when my son was born, I was looking into it a bit more. And then, it really started when I got pregnant with my daughter, my second child. And I was just getting to the point, I was looking more into things and the truth. And I remember I'd make dinner for family, and I'd always the standard meat, veggies, and potatoes and mash. And I would not eat the meat, not touch the meat, but I would always eat the veggies and the potato. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I physically like couldn't even look at that meat on my plate anymore, let alone put it in my mouth. So I knew like something was happening. I was like awakening to that conditioning. And then, yeah, thinking back, I remember this one particular day, I was like, I was early pregnant with Lyla, and I was cutting up beef, and like in the packet there was so much blood, so much. And at that point, yeah, I wasn't eating it, but I was making it for family. And I got it out and I was cutting it up, and there was just like so much blood coming out of it. And I was just like, this is like a being. Like this is weird. This is really weird and feels wrong, and I just can't do this anymore. Like, I don't think I can cook it. I remember I said to my fiancé at the time, like, I don't think I can do it anymore. I don't think I can cook it. I haven't been eating it for like this long now. I eat around it, but I don't think I can do it anymore. And I think that was just, yeah, that was like the moment for me, looking back. So I actually forgot about it, but that was the moment for me. Yeah, cutting up that beef and all the blood. So.
Yeah. And did you then sort of like just cut out meat products, or when did you look into like dairy and eggs?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? So I think for most people, yeah, so you cut out the meat first, and that was definitely me. And then I think it was watching Dominion, I think, because it shows you the reality of everything. So milk and eggs. But that was quite a journey for me to get to cutting that out. It was quite a journey, which is for a lot of people. So I'm pretty sure I watched a little bit of Dominion, or I know I was doing a lot of research at that point, and I had a best friend that had just gone vegan. She was telling me a lot as well. Actually, I think she was a big part of, yeah, cutting out dairy eventually, because she went fully vegan, her, the husband, the kids, and she was telling me a lot that I didn't know. So it was hard though at the time, because my fiance was not open to really being vegetarian, let alone vegan. So it was difficult, and you obviously have to like compromise on that at the start when you feel like you have to. So that was difficult. But when he passed away, yeah, I really went on my vegan journey then. So, and there's never been any dairy since then, and I've never looked back.
Yeah. I love that in Dan's episode as well, you know, he spoke about how I guess you introduced that concept to him, you know, like in terms of when you guys started dating, and, you know, he spoke about, I think he mentioned he had dairy in the fridge one time when you came over, and, you know, you were talking to him about that.
Disgusted, yes. No, it's, yeah. Once you see it for what it is, it's repulsive to you, right? Like it's, yeah. But before that, I never thought any different either, just like everyone else. You see it as a carton of milk. But now I look at it and I see it so differently with new eyes. So, yeah, but poor Dan, yeah, he got thrown into the deep end. And he did it overnight. He went vegan overnight. So it's amazing. I'm proud of him, because it took me quite a bit. It was a journey, like it is for most people. So people that can do it overnight, it's amazing. Yeah.
And so what point did you start to raise your children vegan?
So Riley would have been 2, I think, when I like cut that beef that time, and I was like starting to not eat the meat on the plate. He would have been about 2, and I was pregnant. So Lila's never had meat in her life, which I love. It makes me very happy. You know, like she gets older and she wants to, which I highly doubt. That's her decision, but at least I can tell her, like, you never have in your whole life. Because for me, looking back, it disgusts me to think I ever did, but we didn't know any different. But my son was 2. I remember like trying to change his meals, but as I said, my fiance at the time was a vegan, didn't want to be. So it was quite hard, especially when there's a child involved and a baby, and it's both a child. So that was a tough one. But yeah, since he sadly passed away, yeah, they're both fully vegan, thriving. We get regular blood tests. They're not lowering anything. They're super healthy. So yeah, we've all like never been this healthy. So no, it's really good. Like, and when I was watching Cara's episode, it was interesting when she was saying about her health and what was her indigestion, digestive issues she was saying? Yeah, it was, yeah. And I was thinking, it's interesting because thinking back to when I was eating meat, I remember I used to get quite like bad bowel problems too. And I used to like some nights wake up with the worst stomach pains and I would be like, couldn't go to the toilet. I'd be like on the bathroom floor like in tears because it was that bad. And now thinking back, that hasn't happened to me once in 3 years. So yeah, there you go.
And exactly.
Yeah.
And with your gorgeous kids, you know, I guess, like, tell us about them, you know, understanding about veganism. I personally have had the privilege of hanging out with them and they're little vegan warriors, but for people who haven't had that, tell us about, you know, how they spread the vegan message.
Oh, they're funny. Like, they tell everyone at daycare that they're vegan. They call, Lyla calls it vegan. They're both very proud of being vegan. But no, I'm just like really honest with them. So they know more than like average person about where meat and dairy comes from. I tell them everything, and anything they ask me a lot of questions. I tell them. Dan tells them. Whenever they go to my mum, my nan's, they now ask them like, check, is that vegan, and like, has that got cow's milk in it? Like, they'll double check. When we go to the grocery store, it can be interesting. She's already like a little activist, so we will very past the meat section, dairy section, and Lyla will be like at the top of the waist, like, Mummy, she's drinking the cow's breast milk. She's drinking the milk for the baby cows. And I'm like, I know, darling, I know. And she's like, Mummy, her there. She's drinking the cow's milk. I'm like, I know, darling. It's so hard. She gets very upset about like me. When we walk past butchers, she's like, oh, Mummy, there's the animals and it's sad. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Riley gets upset too. In terms of like though, videos and the stuff that I share on Instagram, I don't let them see that, obviously, because at their ages would be quite traumatic. It's hard enough on us as adults. So, but verbally, I tell them everything, pretty much. So they know, they call them the bad people, kill the animals. So, yeah.
I have noticed as well, you know, that every now and then you do cop a little bit online for, you know, I guess people who are unaware or want to, you know, project what they see or in their mind is going on. You know, I suppose, how do you sort of deal with that, especially because Lyla, they're so young, you know, so how do you deal with that?
Well, when it comes to my kids, the vegan page shared a photo of my baby holding a vegan sign, and when people will say things about my baby, yeah, it's not going to be pretty. I'm going to stand up for my baby. But when it's like towards me or about veganism, I don't really care. I mean, I'm just going to get louder and louder as the years go by. So, but yeah, like in my DMs on Instagram, like a lot of people have a lot of interesting questions for me and arguments against veganism. Majority of the time, I mean, some days I'm just in a shit mood. Like, I've seen enough animal cruelty online, I'm just like, I can't even deal with it, and I'll just block them. Or majority of the time, I will answer their questions as best as I can to help them see the truth, or have a bit of a back and forth. I think I always, try to stay kind, explain as best as I can. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty lucky. People are pretty good and receptive to what I post online about animals. People are my following's pretty good. So yeah, but you get the odd ones. I had a butcher message me saying I'm disgusting because I get naked in public and it's wrong for children to see. And I just said, well, I think it's wrong that people feed their children dead animals. So I wasn't naked. I had lingerie on and I was standing up for animals. So yeah, just got to ignore them and give them facts.
I do notice that, you do get a great response from when you are showing footage and things. People often send you DMs saying that, what they've seen has enlightened them to look into it more, and they're avoiding certain products, or they're transitioning to vegetarian or vegan, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. That's why I keep going. I mean, if it was all negative, you'd probably be like, but like I said, I'm really lucky. A lot of people really are quite receptive to what I share and want to know more and want to see more. And pretty much because I see this every day, it's reminding me every day why I have to make these changes. I post something, with the truth, to help them on their journey. And say I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that, or I don't know how to cook the tofu. And I say to them, this is how you do this. And if you need any help with anything at all, I'm here, because I needed someone when I went vegan. I had a best friend that just went vegan. So I used to send her all the messages how do I cook the tofu and how do I cook the beans? So I just say to them, anything, message me. So it's an amazing platform, really. We can reach so many people. It's amazing.
Yeah. And so I guess, sort of maybe before, you would say slightly before you started being an advocate for animals on Instagram, you really you're focusing on the loss of your late fiancé and, how you were dealing with your grief. So I guess tell us about that in terms of, the story, but also how you've moved through that.
So in December 2020, my kid's dad and my fiancé was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. So it's a blood cancer, and it came out of nowhere, really. So we just had our daughter. Our son was 2. He was super healthy and fit, and we didn't, think when I say super healthy, I mean going to the gym, and he cared about his body and stuff. I think we did eat pretty well, aside from the meat and dairy, but I think we ate pretty well. So he was reasonably healthy. It just came out of nowhere. It was shocking. Really out of nowhere. It was crazy. One day, he just felt really sick, he had food poisoning, and went to the hospital, and they ran tests, and we came out saying we'd be shocked if it wasn't cancer. And I'm cancer? I was so confused. He was 29. We just had our daughter, and we had a 2-year-old son. I was cancer? What? And then the test came back, and they said it was cancer, leukemia. Yeah, it was a bloody rough journey. It was so hard. I blocked a lot of it out, like I said, to be able to move forward. But he was sick for 6 months, I think it was. And it was hard. 2-year-old, young baby, caring for him. There's so much more to it than people think, the hospital appointments, medications, being physically sick, having to get someone to mind your children, being away from your children, visiting them in hospital, the emotional toll, the mental toll, being absolutely petrified that they're going to die, not being able to work, they can't work. Anyway, there's so much to it, but it was tough. It was really hard, and his cancer kept relapsing after they would do chemo. And then what did they do? They did the bone marrow transplant, but they said because the cancer had relapsed 3 times, that the transplant probably was not going to work. It was only a 10% chance. I remember them telling us that. I will never forget that day. And I just burst into tears in the room, and he didn't even shed a tear. I think he was in shock, to be honest. Or he was trying to stay strong for me. I'm not sure. But I remember him comforting me when he was the one that just got told in 90% chance he's going to die. But I'll just say to them, you have to do something. He has little kids that need him. Riley was his best friend in the whole world. So that was tough. So we went home. We both cried the whole way home. I don't even know how I got home because we were crying so much. And he was saying things to me I just want one last summer with you guys. yeah, it was rough. We got home and he got our son out of bed. He just held our son in bed and cried and just kept saying he doesn't want to leave him. And then, yeah, after that night, it was back to hospital and the fight was on for that 10%. And he did the transplant. And unfortunately, after that, he got like 3 different infections. And when you have cancer, you have no immunity at all. So, yeah, he had nothing to fight those viruses off. So it was just going downhill from there. They put him on life support. I remember the doctor calling me into the room to tell me, like, there's not really much more we can do. Like, it might be your last day that he gets, like, speak to him because he might have to go on life support. So that day, we spent like 2 hours together. We told the doctors not to give him any medication because he didn't want to be sleepy. He just wanted to talk to me. So yeah, that 2 hours was really special. We got to talk a lot about everything. And yeah, say our I love yous. We weren't allowed to hug or anything at that point or touch. Like, I had to wear the full PPE, gloves and whatnot. Yeah, as I walked out the door, like I said, I love you. And I walked out the door and I like had this feeling like, I think they're right, like he's not going to make it. So I made sure I went back in and just said again, like, you know, I really love you and you're our whole world and you're Riley's best friend. And I'm so glad I did go back and say that because, yeah, that was the last time I ever got to talk to him. And the next morning I got a call that, yeah, he was on life support. His kidneys have failed. And then I got another call that afternoon that a couple of other things had failed, and he was brain dead and they were turning the machines off in a hurry. So I went straight to the hospital and yeah, he passed away. I still can't believe it. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. He like just turned 30 in hospital. We had 2 young babies. Looking back, I don't know how I survived that. It was the most painful time of my life. When they go, yeah, you just want to go, but you can't because you have little kids. So you don't have that option. Yeah, so you just got to keep going somehow. I think I stayed in bed for like 4 months. I didn't get out of bed. I cried constantly. I wouldn't to bath the kids, feed the pets, and that was about it. Like, I didn't really eat. I lost so much weight. I was so sickly. I stayed in bed for 4 months. I didn't really leave the house or want to talk to anyone. So yeah, it was a difficult time.
It's just,
but I am somehow.
yeah, it's so hard to even comprehend, you know, like you're so young and to have 2 beautiful little babies and just to be, you know, without their father and without your partner is heart-wrenching. So I think you do so incredible, Tayla, to be able to speak about this and to, you know, be so open and honest about it. And I'm guessing, you know, at some point after, you know, the 4 months in bed, you sort of found a little bit of fight and you thought you wanted to you know, move through that and have something to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even like as I was saying, the day after he passed away, I was still posting on Instagram about the animals. I think like it made me, how do you explain this? Like, you're so angry and he's dead. And then you remember all the animals that are killed daily and you're even angrier. Like, you're grieving him and then you're grieving these animals on such a deep level for both of them at the same time. And it's just like, life is so meaningful and important and people were just slaughtering these animals and they don't care. I was just so angry. Like, I don't know, it just put this fire in me and I'd never been so angry and so upset and so hurt. But yeah, it just gave me this fire and I just kept fighting for the animals. So like I said, like in a way it saved me, just while I'm trying to save them. But yeah, after that 4 months of like pure depression, not wanting to leave the house to bed, yeah, I was lonely, and I wanted companionship. And yeah, obviously Dan touched on this in his episode, so I'll just quickly mention it. But yeah, I jumped on Tinder. Some people would be like, oh my God. I got a lot of judgment anyway when I did this, understandably, but yeah, you have to do what you want to do. Jumped on Tinder. I was very upfront, like in my profile, that I was looking for companionship. I was lonely. I was a new widow. I have 2 kids. I'm vegan, very vegan. And yeah, I didn't really reply to anyone else on LinkedIn because he was just so nice. Like, he sent me the nicest message when everyone else would just message you like, what's up? Hey, what are you doing tonight? Netflix and chill. Dan actually, like, there was like meaning and depth to his message, and I really appreciated that at that time. I needed that so bad. So we started talking. We would FaceTime overnight when my kids are in bed, and then my mum had the kids on weekend, and he asked to come over, and I was super skeptical. Like, I don't know if I am ready for companionship. But anyway, I let him come over. I was super depressed, and he just like held me all night in his arms. He didn't like even try to kiss me, nothing. He just held me, and it was so comforting. I just needed like a man to just hold me, you know, like, and he did that for hours. He didn't get a wink of sleep. He just held me, and he said I had heaps of nightmares. And then after that, yeah, he came over one day because he said he wanted to cook the kids a vegan dinner and teach them how to cook. And I let him, and it was like beautiful to see my kids in the kitchen cooking with a male figure again. Yeah, and see the happiness on their face. It was really special. So since then, yeah, I saw him every day. And now, yeah, here we are. And he, yeah, went vegan overnight. He would come over and cook vegan dinners for me and the kids. And at a time in my life where I was so broken and couldn't cook, and yeah, he was really there for me. So yeah.
It's such a beautiful story. I love it. How long?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. You guys are the cutest. Just because I know you and I've seen you, it's just the cutest ever. Knowing that story, like, I didn't know that story when I met you, and so it's so cute seeing you 2 together.
I know, and it just goes to show you can be completely bloody broken, and you can still find love again. So yeah, you don't have to be healed to find love. He loved me in my absolute brokenness. So it is beautiful. It really is. It's special, yeah.
Yeah. And so tell us about, that, I guess, that transition then, because historically you'd had a partner that wasn't really that keen on the idea of, being vegan or vegetarian. And then now you've got this, man in your life that's happy to cook vegan and then ultimately went vegan.
Different. So yeah, it's been different. For sure. Like, even when he was like sick, I was thinking back on this today. When he was sick, the hospital's like just so wrong. Don't even get me started on this, but the hospitals would give these cancer patients ham sandwiches every single day for lunch, and it's a type 1 carcinogenic, and you're giving this to cancer patients, and I was not happy at all about this. So I would let his dietitian know, and they would do the standard. Oh, they have to eat meat, and they have to have dairy. It's a part of the food group, and we need to keep them healthy. And I would try to give them my facts. And anyway, me and the dietitian didn't get along too well. So yeah, even at the end, I was like really trying, because it was so important, and I was trying to save him, because when you look into it, they say a raw vegan diet and all these different supplements and vegan smoothies. Look, I don't know if any of it's true. It didn't work for us. His cancer was way too aggressive. It was too late. But we wanted to try everything. So looking into it, we tried all these things, supplements and smoothies. And yeah, we're living a full vegan life, and we don't harm things. And it's good. Like, I can sleep at night now, knowing that my choices aren't harming anyone anymore. There's always, like, my whole life, like, guilt with that. I feel like even as a child, when I wasn't vegan, I knew, I think I was meant to be vegan. I knew, and I felt guilt for a very long time until I, like, fully went vegan. Even when I was vegetarian, I still felt guilt. until today, like being fully vegan. I feel great knowing no one's dying for us. So
and tell us about the types of activism you've been doing out in the community. I know you've been involved in some protests and some animal justice party stuff.
A couple of things. Like I wish I did more, but at the moment, like because me and me doing IVF, so we haven't had a whole lot of time. But before we started IVF, we were doing quite a bit, which was really, really good. So I went to my first Cube of Truth with Cara, and that was amazing. We did our first one together. That was really cool. I had, I think, 2 people yell at me at my first one, so that was interesting. Like the first one was hard, but it was good, you know. And then I did lingerie protest, which was interesting because I'm not super confident with my body, but I was like, it's not about me, it's not about my body, it's about why I'm doing this for the animals. And then we did one at Parramatta. I don't know what they call it. It's like a Parramatta site truth something, I don't know. Anyway, that was a good one because the kids got to get involved and they got to hold up signs, and we had like some really good chats with people that day. It was really, really good. And it was like a couple of people that were vegetarian but not vegan, so we got to talk to them about why it's best to be vegan. And speaking to other parents that are like vegetarian, and they would like come up and show their kids the photos we had on the boards of the animals being slaughtered. And I would say, like, it's amazing that you're being so honest with your children. I am too, and it's really important, and I really respect that. So I had some really good chats with other families with children. We did a Sydney Fish Save one. What else did we do? I know there's one I'm missing. But Animal Justice Party, we did that when it was election time. That was interesting. That was interesting, handing out pamphlets for that. But we've done a bit, but we need to definitely do more. So hopefully soon the IVF journey is done and dusted for us, and we have our baby and we can do heaps. I'm going to be up there pregnant doing the lingerie protest, like heavily pregnant, and I can't wait. It'll be great.
How did you find the lingerie protest? You know, it's something I guess it would be quite daunting for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, the lead up, I was really nervous and scared. But during it, like, I don't know, you're standing there and like people like the whole of that spot in the city, everyone has eyes on you girls, you know, because it's like a shock. Like we're all in lingerie holding signs, and they're all just shocked, staring at us, taking photos, like getting close-up photos of us. And you just like, well, for me, I felt like angry. Like, why are you staring? Why are you taking photos? Like, come and speak to our outreaches. DM is one of the outreaches. Come and speak to them, get a pamphlet, come and learn. Like, don't stand close up to us and take photos of us. And not take a pamphlet or want to learn more. So during it, like, I didn't feel nervous or anything. I just felt angry. And then in a way, like, really proud of myself because I got like half naked in public, and I'm not that confident with my body these days. Because when Tayla passed away, I was super, super skinny and lost lots of weight. And then since I met Dan and he cooks me all this amazing vegan food, way too much vegan food, I'm definitely at my heaviest today. So I was very proud of myself for putting all that aside and doing it for the animals. And it was like a big thing for me with my body. It was helpful. Yeah. It was good.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it. It was good. I mean, I'd do it again. So that says it all, right? I'd do it again. So
absolutely. Yeah, I think you should be very proud.
To catch attention. Yeah. It's a really good way to catch attention. Like, a lot of people do come up and talk to the outreaches, and that's what you want. You just want people to notice and talk to the outreaches. So, and take the pamphlets and watch the links. Yeah. So whatever is going to work, whatever's going to catch attention, I'm down for.
And something that you did just mention that is sort of, I suppose, a new part of your journey is IVF that you and Dan are doing. So tell us a little bit about that.
It's not a fun journey. I gotta say, it's interesting. It's emotionally tolling. It's a difficult one, but hopefully we get a little vegan baby out of it, and it will all be worth it. I hope. We only got one little embryo out of that whole process, and we sort of feel like maybe that means that one's meant to be. So I hope so. If not, we'll just keep trying until it happens. We really want this. So we really want a child together. I really, really want to make my kids older siblings. I was an only child, so I really want a big-ish family, 3 kids. Something we really want. So the IVF journey is not easy, but it will be worth it. I really think it will be worth it. Yeah.
For people who don't know, the process, you did pretty well at documenting it, even though I'm sure it was difficult for you during the time, you guys had injections and stuff. But I guess give us a little bit of an overview for someone that may not be aware of what's involved.
So a lot of appointments, a lot of appointments that are very far away. And it takes pretty much all day to get to that scan and blood test. It takes up your whole day when you drive there and back. And then the injections, hormones going wild. Then you got to go into hospital, have the egg retrieval, and then that 5-day wait to see if any of the eggs have made it and fertilized is the longest wait ever. And then we only got one, so that was disheartening. And then I was like, no, it must be for a reason. You go through all the injections, heaps of appointments, and then do the egg retrieval, and they tell you how many you've got. For me, they froze mine because I was at risk for, what's it called? HCS or something like my hormones were raging, they were too high and it was dangerous, so they froze it. Had to have a period, and then once you're ovulating, they put in the frozen embryo, which they did 5 days ago. So we're waiting now to find out in a blood test in about a week if it's worked or not. So I hope so. I really hope so. I don't want to go through it again. It's a really hard journey. I feel for people that have to go through it, especially multiple times. It's not easy, and it makes me feel very, very blessed that I had my 2 without having to go through this process, because it's just emotionally very, very taxing.
And I think as well quite financially draining too, isn't it? You're saying you're quite lucky. You're quite lucky in getting it sort of somewhat subsidized, but otherwise it may not be achievable for many people.
So I keep saying to people that are asking me about it, if you're comfortable with it, go public, go the bulk build route, because it's much more affordable. I can't imagine going through this journey emotionally and then having to worry about that massive financial cost. Still costs money, and quite a bit of money, but not as much as going to the private ones. So I keep saying to people, try to go bulk build if you can.
And I guess, moving back sort of towards the side of veganism and things, what helped you, what sort of documentaries did you watch that helped you understand what goes on in the animal agriculture industry?
So the one that I recommend to everyone now that we know about it, because Dim from Don't Watch reached out, and then we were like, oh, we actually hadn't watched it or knew about it. He's amazing. He's great. And he asked, can we do a photo and hold up don'twatch.org on a piece of paper? So I was like, yeah, absolutely, I can help with that. Anyway, so before we did that, we watched the video, and it only runs for 7 or 8 minutes, which is really good, because people don't really want to sit through 2 hours of Dominion. You know what I mean? It's really upsetting. When I watch it, I'm physically throwing up. I'm so upset. I'm in tears. Dad will tell you, I'm a wreck. I can never get through all of Dominion. So watching Don't Watch the Org, like it's pretty much like Dominion, but it shortens it into like 7-8 minutes. And yeah, it's very eye-opening, very eye-opening. So I say to people now, don't watch the org, 7 minutes of your time to know the truth about where meat and dairy comes from and eggs. 7-8 minutes of your time. Apart from that one, I always recommend that one because it's short, but yeah, Dominion is, definitely an important one. But like I said, it goes for like 2 hours. I can't get through it because I get way too upset. And for me, I can't put myself through it. I'm already vegan. I fight every day. I see enough. But it is a great documentary. Seaspiracy on Netflix. That was really interesting. I want to watch that again, actually. I really recommend that one. Cowspiracy on Netflix as well. That was one of the first I showed Dan. That was a great one. Oh, and Game Changers. Game Changers is so good. It's really good. I actually showed my late fiancé Game Changers, and that was the only documentary that made him like think and be like, oh, okay, maybe like you are onto something. And what was the other? What the Hell? That's great too. Yeah. But honestly, I just go onto YouTube and I watch random stuff. Like I search dairy farms and animal slaughter and stuff. I don't know why I do it to myself, but I feel like sometimes I need to know as much as possible to be able to educate others. But yeah, Dominion gets me for some reason. I don't know. I'm like physically sick when I watch it. So
I'm pretty impressed, Tayla. I notice that you guys often watch, do new documentaries and things on YouTube, and it's a credit to you because, I avoid them. I feel like it's not something I need to see anymore, but it's pretty incredible that you're able to watch it. And like you said, it's great to be able to, update your knowledge and make sure you know everything as best as possible to explain it to people.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I do always make sure I'm recording it on my stories so that people because people watch my stories and then they're going to see it, and like people aren't really willingly going to go to watchdominion.com or don'twatch.org. Some will, most won't. So I'm going to put on my story so it's in their view and they can see it. But yeah, I mean, when I'm posting stuff and we're trying to watch it, I am constantly pausing it because I'm like crying so much and there's so many tears that I can barely breathe, and I need to like pause for a minute and like calm down, and then we can unpause it. It doesn't get easier. It's horrible. Hey, it's horrible. Every single second of every day. I think I just randomly stop some days and like every single second of every day they're being slaughtered. It's really hard. It's
really hard for us to accept and be aware of. A lot of people aren't even, it's not even on their radar, but for us it's like the center of our universe. Every decision, don't
care. And I don't understand how they can't care. And they know the truth. They've seen it. They see it on my Instagram. And once we know, we have a obligation to do better. So we need to make changes.
And I guess, would you say you have any advice other than watching documentaries, for your transition or for anyone else that, is looking into veganism? What sort of advice do you have for them?
Honestly, Cara covered this one of hers. I was like, yes, exactly, because food is obviously the main one, right? Like people love food, people love to eat. I love food. We don't want to give up things that we love. And I get that. So it's not hard. Like I was saying to someone in Porto the other day, he said, don't use chicken or something. And I said, no, because I can still have it. He's like, how? And I'm like, my favorite food has always been chicken parmigiana, right? So I now will get vegan schnitzels. I'll put tomato paste on it, and I'll put an amazing vegan cheese on the top, and I have a chicken parmigiana. No one has to miss out on anything. Like I'm looking right now at my desserts. Right? I have vegan macaroons, like vegan coconut chocolate macaroons. Like, I don't miss out on anything. No one has to miss out on anything. You just literally change things so you eat all the same things, but you're just switching things out. So instead of using cream from cows, use coconut milk. Instead of using cow's milk, use oat milk in your coffee. Like, it's really easy. Like, that's the secret. It's really easy. Like, it's actually so easy. I think like that's what shocked me the most. I always thought it would be hard as well, like a really hard journey. But once you're vegan, you're like, this is shit easy. It's so easy. I mean, the hardest part is trying to like, awaken everyone around you. That's the hardest part. Yeah.
Yeah,
Truly.
absolutely. Yeah. And I know that you do have some pretty cool tattoos, Tayla. It's going to be hard for people that listen to the podcast, so you might have to do some kind of description here. But tell us, I guess, about a few of your vegan tattoos.
So recently, before we did IVF, I got the word vegan tattooed on my foot. So every time I look down, I see it. And then I always forget about this one, but my kids remind me. So me and Dan, when we met a couple months after, we went to our vegan tattooist and we got like little V's behind our ears. I always forget I've got it. And then the kids pointed out sometimes, they're like, "You got a V for vegan." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right." I see Dan's one, it looks pretty cool. We have matching tattoos, vegan tattoos. And then I got this one, which I was saying to you, I always forget about, but it's actually quite big. It says, "Choose compassion." It's got all the animals, cow, pig, sheep, rooster. And so I got that photo from Google. We like changed it up a bit, changed the animals. And then I made my own wording. Choose compassion. Because it's as simple as that. Yeah. Choose
Absolutely.
compassion. Be kind. Yeah. So I want more. But I'll wait till I have a baby. And I'm going to get, definitely some more vegan tattoos. They're the best. And we have great vegan tattooers, so yeah.
It's a definite addiction. I can verify that. You start with one and then you just can't stop.
I know, it's so bad, right? And you have so many ideas. It's bad. But it's okay because it's vegan, so it's all right.
Exactly. And before we finish up, Tayla, is there anything, that we might have missed that you wanted to mention?
The only thing I would say, everybody, please go to don'twatch.org and watch dominion.com. It is one is 8 minutes out of your day, the other is 2 hours out of your night, and it will change your life. Or watch Game Changers on Netflix, or What the Hell on Netflix. It's really important information that everyone needs to know. So
yeah, we're pretty lucky. I had Dim on the podcast. I'm thinking that was last year. Yeah, and it was cool to hear.
I haven't listened to it. Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to go back. It's incredible because he speaks about how he came up with the idea and how he made it and the number of downloads and the impact it's had. So it's pretty incredible. And like you said, 7 minutes, it's so easy for people to sit and watch and focus on.
100%. It's 7 minutes out of their day. And I love the URL he's done too. I actually messaged him the other day and I said, I was giving him an idea for a stickers design. The stickers are a great way to get people to watch it. So I said, just keep it like super, because people don't know what don'twatch.org is. So just put on a sticker, blank sticker, black one, don'twatch.org, and people are going to be curious, right? So we'll have the link. So, but it's a great video. I recommend it to everyone. It's really good.
Actually, that's something I've just remembered that we did forget to mention, is that you and the family often do chalking as well, don't you?
Yeah, the kids love it. Yeah, the kids love it. We keep it in our car now. So any like vegan event we go to, like tomorrow, I'm sure we'll be doing it. Yeah, the kids can do their little vegan drawing. And that's a really good way as well to do activism. Like I've noticed when they're doing it in the city and we go after different activism and we go see what they're doing there. There's always people walking through there and they're always reading it because the whole walkway has chalk and quotes and people are like really looking. And then you just like, well, they will generally say to you, what is this? And then we'll just say, we're a vegan activist. If you want to know more, go to blah, blah, blah. And yeah, there's just so many ways to do activism. It's great, honestly. Obviously, my way is Instagram. I feel like has such a big, you can have such a big audience, reach so many people, especially with reels. Now, like, we have such an opportunity to reach so many people. So I make sure I share, animal slaughter videos on reels, so it tries to reach a bigger audience. But yeah, there's so many ways. Activism on the streets, lots of things you can get involved in. So
yeah, and I'll be sure to link in the show notes. I'll pop your profile in there, and as you said, you're happy for people to reach out if they have any questions or want to follow you.
Absolutely, my DMs are always open. I love getting questions so I can help. I want to help as much as I can, because I know I needed someone to help me. So my DMs are always open for anything. Honestly, like the questions that you think are silly, like how do I cook tofu? How do I cook these beans? Anything.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tayla. Really looking forward to seeing how your journey goes. You're so close now to finding out about your bubba, and I'm really excited for you, and I have everything crossed and sending lots of love.
Oh, thank you. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Thanks, love. Take care.
Bye.